Voila. So, hi everyone. Hi. So, our statistics for today is that 7 in 10 girls believe that they are not good enough or that they do not measure up in some way. And these ways would include, their looks, their performance in school, in their friendships, and all these places and with their family and with their friends. And I found out that it doesn't actually change much between childhood and adulthood. So the statistics don't change. The only time that women experience an increase in their self-esteem and self-confidence is when we reach our 40s. And that is when it actually starts to climb higher than men. But in the teenage years, in the 20s, there's like this huge gap in confidence. And that somehow would, cause like this very big split in just how we behave. And so we're going to dive into why that is. And so for the past 2 days in our live stream so far, we have been talking about people pleasing, self-editing, and mind games and manipulation as our 3 mistakes. And so if you missed any of those days, the replays are there, especially in my bio right now. So you can find the replays there. And if you signed up for the emailing list, I've sent it also to your email. So watch that. And so what we talked about basically is how people pleasing, self-editing, and mind games and manipulation for the purpose of seeking validation and love sabotage our relationships. And I've also said it that a lot of times we make these mistakes unconsciously because we are not consciously aware of ourselves. So we are aware of everybody else, but we don't see ourselves in these relationships. So it's very easy to forget ourselves in essence. And so today we're going to be talking about the cord that connects all those mistakes together, and why it is important to identify that cord and to do something about it so that we can have healthier and more intentional relationships. And so today's agenda is just going to be that. We're going to be talking about the connecting cord. We're going to talk about the origin. What is it? How does it show up in our lives? My charge for you, and how to break the cord. And so if you are ready for that, type yes in the chat. And for an introduction, hi, I'm Dr. M. Once again, I'm a relationship and intimacy coach. And I basically coach women to become badass. I help you find yourself, love yourself, discover your worth, build healthy relationships, and enjoy intimacy all up in that space. And I'm an author, I'm a TEDx speaker, and I'm a coach to over 500 worthy queens. And so congratulations, because now you no longer have to deal with low self-worth. You no longer have to deal with lack of self-awareness. You don't have to deal with unhealthy relationships, and you now have access to conscious and intentional living. So who likes that? Who likes the sound of that? Where am I based? Oh, I'm in Lagos, and my book, I'll link that in my bio after this. And so I can have you talk to me. Cakes or donuts? What's your pick? Let me see you in the comments. Cakes or donuts? If you had to choose, which would you choose? I'll choose cakes. So which one would you choose? Guys, let me see you in the comments. Let me see. Cakes or donuts? Hi, everyone joining us on Instagram. For a better experience of this class, I would advise that you come on to Zoom, and the link to join directly is in my bio. Cakes over donuts. Me, I don't understand these donuts people. Me, I believe that cakes are better than donuts. So sorry. But we see you, we see you. All right. So also I want to know which one are you here? Do we have the live with me since day one people, or the replay gang, or the newcomer? So who is joining me for the first time today? Who has watched one replay at least, or joined one day, and who has been here since day one? So let me see you. Where are my day one gang? Where are the replay gang? And who are the newcomers? Let me see you. Let me see you in the chat. All right, so Dia is new. Welcome, welcome. You are in for an interesting ride. This is just the beginning, so I'm warming up. When I get into it, you know. All right, who else? Who else? Who else? He's a newcomer. Okay, we already have a newcomer. Live since day one, people. Let me see you. Oluwapelumi, yes, I noticed your name was new. Day one gang, Sekina, I see you. You followed me from Facebook now to Zoom, and we're doing the last day together. Day one gang, Linz, I remember you joined us yesterday. Thank you and welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so uh, thank you so much for joining wherever category that you fall into. I'm so excited that you're here. And like we did the first 2 days, my disclaimer is always going to be, please do not blame yourself. You are not alone in anything that I'm going to be talking about today. And the most important thing is that you can do better. And you can make very unconscious things become very conscious to you and start working on that and change your life starting from today. So I do not want you to think at any point that you are a problem. Okay? So are we ready? Are we ready? Like I said yesterday, I would like that you tag me on anything that you learned, talk about these lives, and let people know, because I really like that stuff. And for the people joining me on Instagram, like I've said, you can join us on Zoom. The link to join directly is in my bio. So let's begin. So the question is, what is the connecting cord of most unconscious mistakes that we make to sabotage our lives and relationships? And by now, if you have been following the thought process since the beginning of the live series, I'm sure you already know by now. The connecting cord is the feeling of unworthiness. And the feeling of unworthiness can either be just a lack of knowledge of your inherent worth, or a lack of belief in your inherent worth. And what is the origin of the feeling of unworthiness? The origin behavior a lot of times starts in our childhoods, where we have very distressed upbringings. When you grow up in a home where there's always conflict, there's always chaos, maybe your family had to be separated for any reason or the other, maybe you experienced loss or death very early and you had to experience grief. And some other times for some people is that their parents were actually present, their caregivers were present, but they did not have a lot of love and concern. And so you had people who were physically present but emotionally neglectful. And you also have people who, for one reason or the other, they just always had very shameful experience around growing up. And so they were punished a lot, maybe shamed a lot. They were not seen. Maybe another sibling was taking the shine. They were bullied in school and they just felt like maybe they are not good enough or they are not pretty enough. And it started in childhood. And so it gets to that stage where this person begins to feel like, if you don't see me, then you don't love me. And it must mean that I am unlovable and I must be unworthy and something is wrong with me. And that is how that feeling of unworthiness starts. And that's how it continues to perpetuate. Do we understand? Is anybody following me here? And can anybody relate to what I'm saying? Just to be sure that you're still hearing me, do you understand what I've said so far? And can you relate to anything that I have said? Who is here? Yes. Okay. Okay, that's beautiful. And okay, yes, I can see the Instagram gang. Thank you for the hearts. All right. So what now happens when you feel these things? What are the emotions that come with it? A lot of times the emotions that come with that feeling of unworthiness would include unease, sadness, loneliness, shame, despair, in just a development of insecurities, a lack of boundaries, because now that you feel like people cannot see you, you might actually be that child that's now tried everything possible for people to see you. And then you would lack boundaries because you would want to do everything in your power to be seen. And then you could also have started having feelings of like low self-esteem, and then have issues with collecting things or receiving things. And so people want to give you things, but then you are just going to decide that maybe you're not worthy of it, or maybe they're giving you this thing because they want something from you, or that you're not deserving of the thing, or you just really have to pay them back. And because you don't think you have what to do to use to pay them back, you actually just decide that no, you're not going to collect anything. And then a lot of times, even when you have worked for something, you find that you might actually be the person to sabotage those things, because deep down it just feels very uncomfortable for you to be receiving that thing. And then people also very greatly develop a fear of intimacy, because the childhood relationships that we form are our most intimate relationships at our core. And so if you did not have a very good childhood relationship with people around you, it will be very difficult for you to believe that other people would love you. And so that also comes with it. And so what would result from all these emotions is that you either not want to be seen by people, or you want to hide, or you just want to disappear a lot of times. Or when you have, like, when something is wrong in your life, your immediate instinct is to hide or to disappear, or for the ground to swallow you. And so there's that group of people that might feel that predominantly. You also have the other side of it, where you have people who take advantage of themselves for other people. And those are the people we talked about in the first class, which was people pleasing, and people that overcompensate just to earn love from people, especially, when you really want people to pay attention to you. And so when you do not get that response from people, you now slip into that stage of thinking, oh, people don't love me for me. People just hang around me because they want what I give. But you don't realize that your vibes and the unconscious thoughts and feelings that you have inspire your actions, and your actions would be the ones your actions attract and choose the people who want to take and take and take and take from you. So do you get how the flow goes in that sense? Who is here? And so the easiest misconceptions that people have around when somebody says, like, has feelings of unworthiness, is that you think that people who struggle with the feelings of unworthiness are not successful people. And there's no lie that is greater than this. And because I usually would use myself as an example at different stages of my life. So at the peak of the time when I was struggling with the feeling of unworthiness, I don't think I ever went below the top 3 in my class, in any class, whether it was primary, secondary, or even university. Like, you would always find me in top 3. And if I was really doing bad, I would be in the top 5. And at this point, I already was running businesses that were making money. And there was nobody that was going to see me and would think that, oh, I was struggling with anything. But deep down, I knew it, especially in my relationships and in my friendships, that I just always felt like people always wanted to take something from me. And I always felt like, I had to be very perfect. And because you can't be perfect, there's some certain things that you need to even aim for in your life, that even though you're already successful, you can do more, but you stop yourself from doing more because you don't believe that you can get there, or you don't believe that you are able to get there. And so high achievers are not exempted from the feeling of unworthiness. And so another group of people that misconception that people have is that people who struggle from the feeling of unworthiness are pathetic people and they cry all the time. No, like I've said before, a lot of the things that people who struggle with the feeling of unworthiness don't even necessarily have to do with crying or anything. It's just a very nagging feeling, almost like a void in your chest, where you know that there's something more that you're looking for, but you've not particularly found it and you don't know how to find it. Okay, so who is here? Who is following? Do you understand what I'm saying so far? Let me see you in the chats, please. Is everybody still here? Are you hearing me? Yes, beautiful. So how does the feeling of unworthiness now actually show up in our lives? Number one, it shows up in how we judge ourselves harshly. And so when you do things and they don't turn out well, you just end up breaking down, and it's like the world is going to end. You can't enjoy food because you think that you have to look a certain way. And when you are eating food, you can't even, you just always think to yourself, look at you, what are you eating? You want to go and be fat again, Abby? And you can't enjoy relationships or even people who are married, even friendships. Like, you are telling yourself, relationships are full of pain. This person is going to leave me very soon. Maybe I should leave them before they leave me. And you just don't believe that you're worthy of anything that is purely good. And you're always waiting for something bad to happen so that you will say, yes, you said so. This thing cannot be true. And you just always feel like anything that is good in your life must come with the second leg of suffering. And it doesn't have to necessarily, that is not necessarily true. And like I've said, a lot of these things are rooted in our past, and we actually have evidence for them of things not happening our way or not happening the way that we want them to happen. And other times, the reason why that we're really harsh with ourselves is because we also didn't have anybody that was going to affirm us or validate us. And so maybe you were not told that you were beautiful enough, or maybe the people around you actually mocked your body. And so they taught you how to see yourself like something that was bad. Maybe your parents did not notice you until you were coming first in school, and now you have made it your identity to be coming first in school, and not even in a good way that people like achievements, but in a way that is almost like a cross in your neck. And now that maybe you can choose to go to other types of schools, you have decided you're not even going to further your education again because you just can't take the pressure of reading again. And I know a lot of people all usually would relate to that. And so maybe you were never that person who had attention growing up, or you had a negative sense of attention. And so now you have realized that when people pay attention to you, it is a bad thing. And so you would always feel tired, always feel exhausted, and you would always be in that space where you just cannot seem to love yourself because you find it difficult to be okay where you are. And that leads to the next point that I was saying, is that you're constantly chasing something. And so you never get to that point where you can actually be calm to appreciate the things that you have in your life. You're always at that go, 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 go thing where you're just always going, and your mindset is always, when I become, so when I have that job, when I become this size, when I have that relationship, that's when I'm going to be happy. For till now, let me just be struggling. And you don't even realize that your entire life is passing you by, and you're actually winning at certain parts of your life and certain stages of your life, but you just keep going and going. And even the times when people celebrate you, or maybe you remember to celebrate yourself because Dr. M said you should celebrate yourself, there's still a part of your mind that is asking you, why? What are you celebrating? What do you have to celebrate? Can't you see your mates? Can't you see the other things that they are doing? This is the small thing that you're celebrating. And then you also find that when we have those feelings of unworthiness, we tell ourselves very, very unhealthy stories that keep us in, unhealthy friendships, unhealthy relationships where you are being mocked, where you are being threatened. And because of the little glimmers and of love and the breadcrumbs that they are leaving you, you think to yourself, I am not as long as at least I'm not alone. At least somebody is calling me to say good morning in the morning. So, at least I'm luckier than some people. And so you feel lucky to be chosen by somebody who is being lukewarm about you, instead of choosing somebody who is actually actively trying to be with you. And maybe at a point in your life, people didn't look at you, but you have to realize that you're no longer age 10 or age 15, where you were the ugliest girl in your school. Right now, even at that time, you were not even ugly. And right now, you're a speck. So why do you want to keep treating yourself and putting yourself in at least I am not alone situation? Don't you think that you are worthy of more than that? And so rather than leaving all these places and moving on because it is the right thing to do, you stay there because the voice in your head is telling you stories like you are getting older. What if you never find another person, but you are in love with this person, but you know that they are just a very toxic person? You know that you are not comfortable with this person, and you have to ask yourself once, at a point, that this thing that you are calling love, is it really love? Are you so bad? Are you so bad of a person, so terrible, that you truly believe that the pain that this person is causing you is the best you can get in your life? Are you that terrible of a person? Is there nothing good that we can find in you, that you think that the person that is doing all these evil things to you is the best that you can get in the world? That you cannot be by yourself and be at peace? Or that you cannot find somebody else that is this toxic person that you want to be with, or these toxic friends that you are going to keep going with, or your family members that just decide that this is how they're going to keep talking. Are you saying that that is how terrible of a person that you are? And these are things that we need to keep talking about, thinking to ourselves. And like I said, the connecting chord is just that feeling when you don't realize that you are worth more than you are currently accepting, when you don't know, and when you don't actually believe it. And so, are we still here? Are we still here at this point? The Instagram people, hi, can I see you? Who is here on this live right now and, is here and is following? Let me see you in the comments. Type yes if you're following. Let me see that you're still here. Hi. Okay, so we're still here. Okay, and so when you do not, the problem is this: when you do not believe in your inherent value or worth, you do these things that take away your attention, they take away your energy, they take away your money, they take away your focus. And you can't be great because your entire existence is divided into so many different places that it should be. And so for a very strange reason, you just find that you are always busy, but nothing is coming out of it. You are always starting something, but you're not necessarily finishing it. And you feel like you are going round and round and round and round in a circle. And you cannot seem to get to that space where things are working fine. To only you fit farm, only you are there believing that you must wash 500 plates before you are a good girlfriend or wife. You busy yourself with many mundane activities just to prove your worth to people that will not care if you could not do those things tomorrow, that they will find somebody to replace you without even thinking about it. But no, you just don't see yourself. You have completely erased yourself from existence, and you decide that those are the people that you are going to keep serving with your life. And so if you're not going to think about it yourself, I am here to remind you of the truth. And the truth is that your worth is inherent. You are worthy by virtue of the fact that you were born. And so just because you were born of a woman or of a test tube, depending on the way they gave birth to you, you are worthy. Your space in the earth has already been decided. And I usually would tell people, do you realize all the events that had to be for you to be exactly where you are? Do you know how many people's lives are intertwined purposely for you to be? The phone or whatever device you are listening to me with right now, do you know how many people's lives had to come together to bring that phone into existence? And then for that phone to travel from everywhere that it was built to get into your hand to listen to what you are listening to. The space that you are occupying, whether it is sand, whether it is tiles, whether it's a bed, do you know how many people's lives? How can you not think that you are worthy of more than you are currently accepting? When I think about these things, I almost want to cry. Because it's like, why won't people see that they are worth more than the things that they're accepting in their lives? Who is here, please? Who is here and following? Who is here? And so your worth is inherent. You are not a mistake. You are here on purpose. You do not have to go around searching for purpose up and down because you're already living. Your life was placed inside your body to be lived. And so living fully is and expressing yourself fully from a space of gratitude and not from a space of always feeling like you have to be doing things for people. It's actually you fulfilling your purpose, and you were brought here to live your best life. And so why would you just let anybody make you feel like anything less than that? And I usually would ask people, when you decide to people please, to edit yourself, to be playing mind games, to be manipulating people up and down, how do you live your best life doing those things? How? When you have put your own life on pause to please everybody else in the world, at what point do you plan to live your best life that we're talking about here? And so it's high time that you open your eyes and realize that your life is not an audition to be somebody's wife or you are here for greater purposes than to be a fine girl to the world's commercial standards, because they said that figure eight, slim waist and big bum bum is the trend. That's the only thing that is occupying your mind, and you cannot think of anything else. Your life is not here for you to be pleasing other people's children up and down. Your life is not here for you to be proving that you are fertile enough to give birth to the multitude of children, because somebody has told you that one child or two children is not enough for you, or that you should be getting more degrees, because in your family, if you don't have 10 degrees, you have not made it in life. That is not what you are here for. And so when you realize that your worth lies in your very existence, that you were born worthy, that the world is a better place, and the world is already a better place because you are there every day doing your absolute best to make it good, that you are worthy even when you are not doing anything. And your worth is not defined by what you can do, who the people you know, that you just by living and breathing well, you are already somebody that it is your right to be loved, it is your right to be respected, it is your right that people should be kind to you. And even when people think that they want to not do those things to you, you can demand it of them. You can remove those people from your life when you know that they cannot stick to your boundaries. It needs to sink very deeply into your subconscious, that is who you are. Move in the world like a queen that you are. And that is the exact purpose of this entire thing, is to see yourself, look at yourself, and to tell yourself that you are worthy, that you're a queen, and that you're a person that by your right, just by your existence, people should respect you. And so, like I said, you will keep saying it to yourself that you are worthy just as you are worthy by default, you are worthy by design. Who is here? Who is here? Instagram people, I see you. You can drop me hearts. Let me see that you're here. The people who are on Zoom, please let me see you in the comments. Are we here? Are we following? Are you hearing me? What we've talked about all through today is the core of everything I have talked about before now. The fact that the only reason that you would feel like you should please everybody aside yourself and ignore yourself is because you have not even seen yourself as somebody. And usually people would say that people pleasing, but I usually would tell people you're a people too. You have to realize that you're a people, and so you should find yourself as somebody that you should be pleasing, and actually put yourself ahead of everybody else, because you cannot give people from an empty cup. Who is here and who is listening to me? So let me see you in the chat, please. Are you here? Are you following? Do you understand what I am saying so far? Here, beautiful. And so I really need you to make it stick, for you to remember and to let go of everything that doesn't serve you and learn new things that would help it to stay. I am worthy, beautiful. This is your first day, but you have gotten to the point where I want everybody to get to. Is that point where you think about it and you know deep down within yourself that you are worthy. Okay? And so I have made it my business to make sure that you remember whether you like it or not. And everything I do, it is circled around everything I have said here. I was on a podcast this morning, and that's exactly what I went there to also say, is that you cannot afford to be accepting nonsense from people. You cannot afford to take advantage of yourself for other people and let people collect tithes and offering on your head while you are left empty and unserved. And so the people who have been here since day one know what time it is. But today, you don't need to beg me to tell you what I have for you to help you get rid of the hold that the feeling of unworthiness has over you, and for you to enjoy a better life and be that kind of person who actually enjoys the relationships that they keep, and to be their best self, and to not people please and self-edit and not manipulate yourself. Who is here in the comments that should tell us what we're about to talk about? Let's know, what are we about to talk about? Type it in the chat for me. Let me see. Hi, Jamila. Welcome for joining. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. What are we about to talk about? Yes, we're about to talk about worthy by design. And if you have been following me for a while, like I said, you would know that I have been talking about worthy by design for a very long time, essentially the most part of this year. And that's because worthy by design is a masterclass that I created. It's a mindset reset class. And it is for me to be able to dissect the concept of self-worth to you, and to dissect how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, how you show up in relationships, the signs that you see that you miss, the things that the manipulative tactics that you fall prey to just because you haven't gotten to that point where you start to see yourself as somebody important, and things that would easily not even be in your scope of recognition anymore just because you have elevated your sense of self-worth. And so I'm going to be teaching you a unique set of mind shifts that have taken me a very long time to learn, with a few tears here and there, to make sure that you get a worthy queen status, to always remember everything that I have said today and for the past few days, and save you the time, save you the tears, and reduce the struggle that you would go through in reaching that point. And so in the masterclass, we're going to be talking about the exact manipulation tactics that manipulative and toxic people use on you, and how to block them. We're going to destroy any myths that you have been believing that have made you feel like you are powerless over different things in your life, and how you search for love. And you would break through the mindset blocks that hinder you from finding the kind of love that you want. And then I'm going to teach you what I call the Worthy Queen Code, that will help you love yourself and value yourself no matter what your relationship status is. So you do not have to be in a relationship to be happy. You can be very single, very happy, and not even have to fake that happiness. And you can learn to show up powerfully and confidently in the beginning of a relationship and throughout the entire relationship, just because you have taken the right step and you know what to do exactly in the beginning. And because I know that all of this cannot be completed in 1-2 hour masterclass, I have also designed the bonuses to go with the masterclass in such a way that they help you to see that through to the very end. And the bonuses are even worth more than the masterclasses themselves. And the first one is the mastermind group that we're going to have after the masterclass. And that's where you can ask me questions and I can answer everything you want. And then we can talk about other topics. And then I have the release, reset, and expand recorded masterclass, where I talk about how to let go of heartbreak, pain, disappointment. And then you have the lifetime access to the masterclass itself. And I've said it that if you pay between now and tomorrow, you also have access to the time-sensitive bonuses, which is Audacity in Action, where I break down the stories of women that have owned their worth. And you also have access to Worth of Power Diet. And I have said that for the first 15 people who go to www.becomingmorewithdrm.com, you would be the people that would get 15% off the full price of the masterclass. And I'm going to record Worth of Power Diet in your name. And so that is me saying everything that I have said today, calling your name. And so I'm just going to call your name as I'm reciting all those things into your ears to make you remember that you are a spec, you are a whole damn vibe, and you will never forget it. And so all of that would be happening and will start happening when you click on www.becomingmorewithdrm.com, or you go to the link in my bio or my page and click on this second link that you find there, and you can read all about Worthy by Design. And so I would say that the masterclass is the first step to uninstalling all the things that you have learned that have made you forgotten your worth, and that make you keep reverting to all these things that we've talked about, all these mistakes that we've talked about so far. And if you think that these classes have been eye-opening together, you do not, as in you are not ready for the masterclass, then if you think that this one blew your mind, you need to go and wear extra seat belt for that one, because I am coming very powerfully for you in that one also. So at this point, do we have any questions? Hi, Sarah Zane. I can see you hyping me up on Instagram. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So do we have any questions? Who is still here? Who are the people that are still here? People that have joined me from the beginning to the end. I am so happy that we have gotten to this point, because like I said, I've been preparing this for the entire year. So I am excited to be here. So who is here and who has any questions for me? Instagram people, do you have questions? Sekina, you left the Zoom live to join me on Instagram. Interesting. Okay, the Zoom people, did you stop hearing me on Zoom? Because I can see the Zoom people here on Instagram. What is happening? Okay, Jamila is still on Zoom. So do we have any questions before we end this live? I've had so much fun so far. So much fun. Please, do we have any questions? Any questions for me today? I love to answer questions. So who has questions for me?
Hello.
Hi. Who is asking a question?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Please ask your question. I'm following. I can hear you.
Okay, well, my question is, let's say I had this issue back then. I don't know. Let's say basically with studies. So there was this lecturer, I kind of failed his course.
Okay.
And then he came to class. Yes, he came to class. He was just talking, he said horrible words. And I know it was directed to me.
Okay.
Why? Because he's someone that was close to my cousin. Yes, he's someone that was close to my cousin, and my cousin knew I failed his course. So he said a lot of horrible things. And I think since then it affected me in a lot of ways. I felt really unworthy. I felt anything I was going to do, like I was going to fail at it. So, but as God will do it, I am a graduate. I am now working. This same lecturer comes to where I work, and I have to like certify his papers before he's able to proceed to the next step.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So,
can we just pause to say, wow, I am happy for you. You are now certifying his papers. Look at God.
Yes.
All right.
But the thing is, I still have this fear in me whenever he's around. Like, I don't know how to, I still have this feeling of unworthiness. I still have to like prove myself in his presence. And I really don't know why.
You see, I don't, first of all, there's nothing wrong in, it's okay to understand that thing happened. And because the things that get imprinted are on our minds are things, generally experiences that happen that bring very deep feeling of shame. And so when he said everything that he said this in a way that just made your body melt into shame. And our body remembers things like that. Do you get? And so that feeling that you get when you see him is because your body remembers him. And you need to get to that point where you are looking at him and you can almost zoom him out of your, right now he's in your mind and in your body, he's like a giant and you're like the dwarf, right? Or do you get? Now you have to, when you see him, consciously bring him down from that pedestal of your lecturer or whatnot, and see him as a human being with a really bad attitude. And consciously bring that dynamic into that space and honor that you still feel very hurt by everything that he said, and honor the fact that maybe you would remember it for a very long time, but nothing he said has stopped you from becoming the person that you are today. And when you can begin to think about what everything that he said came from, that he probably was having a bad day. He might actually just be a really bad person, and that is none of your business. That has nothing to do with you at all. That is his personal problem. And you need to keep affirming yourself. Anytime you know that this person is coming, you need to affirm yourself and see yourself as, this person no longer has to have this kind of hold over me anymore. You have to consciously keep telling yourself and being in that space where you are looking at him and seeing him as the human being that he is and not the giant in your life. The more that you can not let it be an automatic response in your body, the more you can bring intention into how you meet this person and how you speak to this person and how you stand and assert your own presence in his presence, the more that you're just going to realize that he was just that house that they were building in the three little pigs that you can blow away with the wind from your mouth. Do you get it? So do not let people hold just.
Yeah, I do. Oh.
But it's hard. It's hard. I cannot, now that you asked the question,
it is really.
Are you still speaking? Oh, I can't hear you anymore. Oh,
the network is a bit bad.
Yes. The weather is quite cold. Okay, so you were saying something about it being hard. Oh,
yeah, like it's like, in fact, I don't even know how to say, it's really, really hard.
Yes. I was going to tell you that there's actually somebody in my own life that I know like that. That what I do consciously is to just restrict the amount of presence this person has in my life and just be the one in control of how I approach this person. So I don't structure my life in such a way that this person can meet me on their own terms. They have to actually, like, I have to go and search for them. They don't come to search for me. And when they are coming, I hype myself up in my mind so that they don't feel that threatening to me. Do you get it? It takes time, but the more that you put yourself in that space and assert your own presence, the better it is for you. Okay, so there's a question here that says, how does one move on completely from being hurt in a manipulative relationship? Even when it seems like Yes, Jamila, it's fine. Thank you so much. So even when it seems like someone has exhausted all options to move on and carry on with their life, one of the things that I usually would tell anybody that is moving on from a manipulative or abusive relationship is the fact that one of the things you struggle with is that you are fighting yourself that you experienced it and you have not come to terms or confronted that part fully, and all your efforts is directed at moving on almost like it didn't happen. But moving forward from something as viscerally violent as a manipulative relationship, you need to move on in stages. And so the first stage is to actually sit with yourself and ask yourself, what happened? How did I get into that relationship? How did I stay there for as long as I stayed there? What are my feelings towards this person? Do I even still have nice feelings towards this person, even though this person did all these things to me? And to know that it is okay for you to still have those conflicting mixed feelings about this person without necessarily having to erase them from your life, because they have done something to you that is very terrible. It will be difficult to erase that, and it's to make peace with the fact that it's going to take time, but they don't have to have the same hold that they have, like they had over you in the beginning. You reduce the kind of hold that they have on you, but you have to come to terms with the fact that there might not be such a thing as moving on completely, but there's going to be such a thing as moving forward and letting it be. Are you following me? It's like, please let me know that you are following my thought process in the chat. The problem is that you are trying to erase it totally. And unfortunately, unless you develop selective amnesia, you can't forget. But the remembrance of that incident, the more that you make peace with what happened and you've explained it to yourself, and you have given yourself closure about what happened, the easier it is for you to, okay, now start moving forward and taking your lessons from there. But if you just want to decide, if you just want to say, oh, the relationship was bad and I really need to get over this and it needs to live my life, you would most likely not get anywhere. Do you understand me? So don't see it as something that you are destroying from your memory and you are moving on. Look at it as every day that passes by is a day that you left that person, and it is something you should be grateful for. And every day that goes by, if today you remember it and it makes you want to cry, cry. And if tomorrow you remember it and it makes you happy that you've left, be happy and take all your feelings as they come, instead of just trying to make the entire memory of that experience color red. Because more often than not, it is not entirely color red. And so when you make it color red, your brain cannot understand it and your brain wants to resolve it that, no, this is not entirely red. Okay? Are you following? Are you still here? All right, who has other questions so that we can go? Let me see if anybody asked a question on Instagram. Yes, you understand. Beautiful. Okay. So somebody had a question about the masterclass, but they didn't ask it. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me live. We have come to the end of the series. You can watch the replay on my bio, the three of them. I'm going to upload this to YouTube when we're done. And so you can watch all of the three videos together. And so on that note, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, all the beautiful bonuses are waiting for you, and the discount is also waiting for you right now. And I'm going to, deactivate those links and then increase prices later. Thank you so much for joining me. I love Dr. M. And so bye. All right, let me end this live right now. Instagram, where's end live? End video. Bye, everyone. You know what? Maybe if you don't leave, okay, let me stop sharing my screen. All right, so I've stopped sharing my screen, and who is here? Who is still here? Sorry, I can't show you my video. I would have loved to, but I'm still semi-anonymous. So who has any other thing they want to talk about before I log off? Does anybody have any questions for me that is not in the recording and is not anywhere else? It's just going to be us. Who has anything to share? If not, I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to end everything. Do I have one-on-one sessions? Yes, definitely I do. If you go to the link in my bio and you swipe left, I guess you would find that the link there, or you can send me a DM. That's the easiest way to get me. If you send me a DM, I'll send you the link. You can move the one-on-one session and we can have a field day talking about whatever it is that you want to talk about. Because when you pay me for work, I do the work. So I'm usually very excited to do one-on-one sessions. Yes, who else has any other questions for me? Thank you everybody for being here. So I see you. We're going to meet where we normally meet. Jennifer, Tolu. Now you guys are here. Let me ask you, I kind of feel like doing remember the Aka and Claire video? If you had seen me talk about my stories, now that I have Zoom and now I'm getting comfortable with Zoom, I feel like I want to do a reaction video, but I don't know how to go about the reaction video. Low key, I want to make it on Instagram, but I also now feel like doing it on Zoom. Where do you think we should do it on? On Instagram Live, on Zoom, whatever? What do you think? Is anybody here? Can anybody hear me? Or do I have to end the video? Instagram live. Okay, no problem. So that more people can see it. All right, it's fine. We'll do it on Instagram live then. Okay, no problem. I should probably do that sometime during the week, I guess. I think I have some time on my hands now, so we can do it on Instagram live. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Don't forget to check out the link in my bio and share the live streams with anybody that you want to share with them because they're very helpful. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Bye.